Hello, everybody. I'm Russell Hill. I'm your host of WTF, and that is What the FixedOPS, as well as co-founder of FixedOPS Marketing. In addition to that, FOI, which is a new super forum for fixed operations called FixedOPS Institute. And I'm joined today by...
I'm Charity Dunning. I am the co-host here at What the FixedOPS. And before I introduce you to our amazing guest, I need to shout out our sponsor, WYNN'S. People who love cars loves WYNN'S. You can check them out. There's a link in the description below. Now I can introduce our guest, Angela Willoughby. She is the Fixed Operations Analyst at Foundation Automotive Group. Angela, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're so excited about having you. Go ahead, Charity.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about you. And I've been dying to ask you, what is it that a fixed operations analyst does?
First of all, I want to say I keep trying to get them to change my title to Fixed Operations Goddess.
I love it.
Justin won't do it. He said it won't fit on a business card. I was like, it's the same amount of letters. Anyway, semantics. A fixed operations analyst, it is a very new title, right? It's not a normal position within dealer groups. Justin, he is a master recruiter and messaged me on LinkedIn almost 2 years ago. And we just kind of had a conversation. He's like, what do you do? I was like, this is what I do. And I said, what are you looking for? And he's like, all the above. And so we just had a conversation and started talking. And it took him 3 months to, convince me to come on over to a foundation. And it has been the best career decision that I've ever made. And I have had some amazing positions and careers, and I love what I do. So I would say a fixed operations, if you had to put it on paper, an analyst analyzes. But my role has expanded so much, and I am now managing our third-party vendors. So once Justin signs the contract, it's in my lap, and I kind of take it from there and do the onboarding. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure we are getting that return on investment. And if I'm giving you $2,000 a month for your services, I want to know what I'm getting back. And it better be, at least double that or more. And I work with our fixed operations departments personally. So I travel to some of our stores in Texas, Tennessee. I live in Colorado, so not much of a travel there, but I do get to go see them. I'm in a dealership today, and we're learning how to put photos into the multi-point inspections. So I'm working with our Quick Lane here at our Ford store, great group of people. And I love it. I love being out here with them and just being a part of them and giving them a voice within our, within our department.
Does that include fixing ACs or getting ACs fixed too, or no?
No.
Okay. Well, surely you elevated that to somebody who's hot on it, I'm sure.
Well, I was having a conversation with Justin. I was like, I'm going to melt. I'm going to need hazard pay. And I'm texting him. I was like, can I get hazard pay? And he's like, no, you can't have hazard pay. And I was like, I'm just going to get shorter. And I'm only 5'2.5". Like, I can't afford to get any shorter. I already got to roll my pants. And he's like, I'm talking to Jose. And I was like, so I've learned, but I forget that, if you tell Justin something, he is on it like that. And I say it's lovingly, I think it's lovingly, I'm not sure. I need to do a poll. Could you do a poll? So they call me the bulldog within the group. So they're like, if you need it done, give it to Angela, because she will harass somebody for it. And I was like, yeah. So I'm a harassing bulldog, apparently.
Well, so let me, I gotta play on that one just for a minute. So, I met with Leah, Justin, etc. And we were talking about fixed ops marketing again, giving your dealers an option, etc. Options are good,
Yes.
rising tide raises all ships, keeps everybody, moving forward, etc. I think it's great. One option and that's it. Doesn't really work long-term, but anyway, we've evolved a lot since then. We had a lot of your stories before. I won't get into those semantics, but I remember they said, well, Leah said, Angela is, we need to schedule a meeting with Angela. And I was apprehensive. I was a little afraid. Just because I've seen you on the round table and other venues with Kaylee and stuff like that, but she's awesome. Hello, Kaylee, if you're listening to this. And just, the way you dig in and just listening to you pointed questions, people don't take you around the block. You'll stop them and get them right back on track. And I was really concerned about that. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen here? But it was amazing.
I didn't beat you up too bad.
You didn't know. You didn't at all because I didn't blow smoke. And I didn't have a PowerPoint to share. Well, this is what no, show me. And that's exactly what I did. And it's been great. And there's another side. When you say analyst, I'm thinking of somebody who's dry. It's just all like accounting type of people, but you're not that. You genuinely care about the people because you mentioned earlier, which we have this recorded too, that you work with the technicians, you talk to them, you say hello, you care about them, not just their performance, but what do they need to perform? The managers and the advisors and making sure that holding the vendors accountable. And I think that's, I don't even know of another organization. I think you have 40 stores now, something like that.
Close. Yeah. We're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never, and I've been in this industry 38 years, never met anybody quite like you. I've met people like Justin. They're so busy, big picture type of stuff and reports and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I know there's a lot. Justin is a phenomenal guy. I love him to death. Hello, Justin. But to have somebody like you to come in and help that, I mean, I haven't seen it in any other organization. So maybe that's something duplicatable to all of you out there listening, because I know we have a big following out there. That doesn't give you permission to go after Angela and try to hire her away. She's not going anywhere. She's very loyal to the people she's working with. When they take care of you, you take care of them, right?
Yes, I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that you take care of your people will take care of your business. And Justin has really given me a huge voice, and he's so approachable and so easy to deal with that, I'm like, look, I don't know what this is. And he'll throw something out there and I'm like, I'm sorry. Could you explain that? Because I don't know what that is. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And I never feel stupid, or I never feel like I'm less than because I don't understand what he's talking about, because my experience is a lot different than his. I have a crap ton of operations experience, right? And it may not all be automotive, but what he knows and what I know, you never want to be the smartest person in the room, right? So you build that team. And I love working with him. I love working with, our whole team. We've got a great group here with Foundation, and everybody has a voice. Like, I've not really experienced the opposite of that, which has been fantastic. So it's just, yeah, I'm very loyal to Justin and Foundation, and it's just been great.
Well, he's such a caring, giving family man. Now, I believe there's a difference between a manager and a servant leader, and this guy has a servant heart. He genuinely cares. I know he can't visit with everybody, but when you're in his presence, he's listening to you, and it's genuine. It's real. And, and when he's not doing this, I know he's all about his family. I know that for a fact. I met him the first day he started with Found. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, so cute.
Yeah, he just hit his 3rd year anniversary, which is incredible.
It is. So, and talking about family, you married and got kids?
I am. I've been married. My husband and I've been together 26, almost 27 years.
Yeah, good for you.
We met on a Monday, went on our first date on Wednesday. He rescued me from the bar on Friday, and I moved in on Saturday.
Wow. And all this time like this. So how does it work?
Communication, I think, is huge. He used to rub my feet, but he doesn't anymore. So it might be a breaker. I'm not sure.
What is his name? What's his name?
David.
Hey, David, she's an awesome lady. I know you already know that, but I just wanted to give you plugs.
I'm sure he wants to choke me 3 times a day. It's fine. We have 2 kids. They're grown. They're not allowed to say that they're adults. I tell them that's a cuss word, and I'd rather they cuss than say I'm an adult. Like, I will smack them. I'm like, we don't say that around here. But our daughter, Gwen, is 23. She is a staff sergeant in the Army. She's a Patriot missile operator. She's out there running these boys around. It's less than 5% in that field are women. And she has just soared and risen in the ranks, and we're just extremely proud of her. And then our son David is 22. He's currently learning to be a dealer for the casinos right up the road. So we live in Black Hawk and we got all these casinos there, and he is just, math is like his strong suit, like it's crazy, and almost like savant. So he's been doing these classes and he comes home and he's like, yeah, I'm beating the guy that's training us now. And I'm like, great.
Oh, how fun.
But he's loving life. And we're so incredibly proud of both of our kids. You know, the whole job, right, is to raise, you know, positive, happy, contributing members to society. And the car business has really allowed that for us. You know, I was stayed home with our kids for a very long time and got to volunteer at school and, you know, be there when they got out of school and cook dinner every night. And we had dinner around the table, and Dave's like, oh, you raised great kids. I'm like, we raised great kids. Yeah. He's like, no, I was working. I was like, but you afforded this ability for us. Yeah. And to me, that was huge. And I just, being a mom is probably like my first thing. Like if anybody says, oh, what are you? I'm like, oh, I'm a mom. Mm-hmm. You know, I know I'm a wife and I'm a daughter and a sister and a friend, but I'm a mom, and I will choke somebody out because I'm a mom. I am that mom.
Well, obviously, you set a tremendous precedence and foundation for them growing up, because look at the way they turned out. How about grandkids? Any of them produce grandkids?
No grandkids yet. Our daughter just got engaged. She bought her and her boyfriend, fiance, just bought a house. They're both stationed together in the Army in Texas, and they just bought their first house. And I have a grand dog. Love him to death.
Hold on. I got a grand dog.
Yeah.
What is okay, I get it now. Okay, I'm on it. Never heard that one before. But no,
they're just as expensive.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being a mom, Angela, how is fixed operations or operations in general? How is that like parenting?
So for me, I think, you know, the way things work and the way things tick, I think are extremely important. And no household just runs itself. You know, someone has to manage the calendar and manage the activities and the grocery shopping and the cooking and the cleaning. Like it just, much to my husband's dismay, right? We have a magic cabinet and there's magic all over the house, because if he runs out of shower gel and leaves the container, magically there's a new one tomorrow, right? So, no, it's not magic. But
right. We get it.
It's okay, David. I love you, man.
We get it.
So to me, in operations, and I've been in operations for quite a while. I worked for Ralph Lauren with operations and Ann Taylor and Coach and White House Black Market, and it's literally my jam. It's operations is what I do, and it's making things tick. It's making things run. It's making sure that everybody has the tools that they need to be successful. They have the training. They have the tools. They have the knowledge. Things are working, you know, the technology is working in a household. And being a parent, you're making sure that your kids have clothes tomorrow and that they're happy and that they're fed and they understand the homework, they understand the assignment. And I think both of those, in my opinion, are the same thing. Not that I'm running a daycare and not that I'm taking care of children here at work, but you're seeing to people's needs and you're seeing to their physical needs and their mental needs. Like I was, you know, sometimes you have an advisor who's breaking down and losing it because they're so busy and it's the end of the month and they've got stuff they need to do. I'm like, okay, let's get you an admin day. Let's get the rest of the day admin. Like sometimes you just have to.
Wow.
So it's the same thing, in my opinion. You're trying to make sure that they can be positive contributing members to your business. And you take care of your kids, you take care of your spouse, they're happy. They're healthy. They're moving on. You take care of your people at work. They're happy. They're healthy. They're taking care of your business. And I just think that they go hand in hand together.
Yeah, it just makes their lives so much easier when you bring that magic.
Yes.
Yeah, when they know that you care the way you do, and they know that they matter, and you help them make a difference by providing what they need, holding people accountable, and just communicating with them. Well, you know, that's really huge.
Yes.
Really, it's not just about the numbers. I bet you're a phenomenal number cruncher too, aren't you?
I love numbers. I don't like math, which
how does that work?
I don't know if you know this, but math is part of numbers. Thank God for calculators.
Right?
I'm like, if the Excel sheet can't figure it out, there is no hope for me. But I love a good spreadsheet. Like if I could make a spreadsheet for something, I'm like, I am creating it. Like I'll create the heck out of it. But I do love numbers. Numbers tell stories, and you have to determine what kind of story you want to tell. So when I look at the data, I'm like, what is this trying to tell me? Or what do I need it to tell me? And my brain works a little bit backwards. I process things backwards, which is weird. When I tell people that, they're like, oh, you're dyslexic. I'm like, nope, just my brain is. I see the resolution. I have to back into it. So I've got the problem. I've got the resolution. I have to figure out how to get, in the middle of it and back into it. So I back into numbers. I back into the stories and the data. And I think the best thing about data is you can't manipulate it. I mean, you could change numbers, right? But then there's always the source file. So what's the point?
It all comes out in the wash, doesn't it? Eventually.
Yes, you can't manipulate it in a way to where it's false, because it's that source, the source file. You can't mess with that, and that's what I love about data. It's black, it's white. Sometimes it's red and green and yellow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of those too. Yeah.
Yeah. I constantly tell our team, coach to the reds and the yellows, but celebrate the green. Let's start by celebrating. This is what you're doing great. Here's what we've got to work on, and just coach to the reds and the yellows, because those are clearly the things that the advisors and the technicians and the service managers need to work on. That's what they need to focus on. Absolutely. And I don't think there's enough training in that aspect. There's a lot of, what have you done? Your numbers aren't where you need to be, but there's not a lot of, hey, here's where you could, here's where you need to coach. Here's where you need to fix. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about my job, is just being able to take what Justin is sending out and what his vision is and what he wants, and saying, okay, here's how you guys can get there. Here's some help in that aspect. And I like to go to the dealerships and work with the service managers and talk to people. I bring snacks. That might be why they like me so much.
Well,
that's a mom move right there.
I come in with a bag. They're like, what you got today? I'm like, granola or junk food? Which do you want?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So I'm digressing a little bit. Okay. You're a mom, you're a daughter, you're a wife, etc. And especially how you met David and ended up moving in, and here you are all these 26 years later. And I'm just curious, particularly you're a fix-it person. Okay. You like to fix things. So was there a time where, and I like, if you want to go there, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. But we all have crossroads, defining moments. We're partying, doing whatever we're doing, and we're realizing, hey, this is not where I want to go. This isn't working for me. Sometimes it takes us, some of us, a lot longer to figure that out. Sometimes we don't even figure it out, and they end up going bye-bye. But I'm curious, was there any defining moments where a light went off in your life in any one of those aspects, whether it be business, family, whatever, where you said, hey, something's going to have to change. There was some kind of moment where, hey, anything like that?
Of course. I feel like we all have that origin story. So I was in the Army, had heart failure, and was medically discharged, which was fine. I thought that would be my career path. Then I got cancer.
Oh, wow.
And was told I wouldn't be able to have kids. So my entire career path changed to, I just want to be a mom. I just want to be a wife. I just want to take care of people. And I've always been a nurturer my entire life. My mom's side of the family, all of her siblings, out of 6 of them, 5 of them had Fragile X, which is a chromosome deficiency, and it causes mental retardation. And it comes in such varying degrees. There's no telltale signs of it. It's just a learning disability. And so I grew up around my aunts and uncles who, all had mental disabilities. And so when I was a substitute teacher for a little bit when the kids were in elementary school. So, I could be there in case somebody messed with my kid. I could.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I volunteered in the autistic classrons and loved it. It was just
special talent there.
Yeah. And it was so close to home. And we've watched this one little girl kind of grow up over the years with the kids. They all went to elementary school together, and she was in inclusive learning. And I see her from time to time. She's 23 now. And every time I see her with a beer, and I'm like, is she old enough for that? Because I forget, I still see this little tiny girl.
Sure.
So anyway, so when I met Dave, we met at Publix on the spice aisle.
Publix.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Whoa,
He's
that's
like,
spicy
I added
there.
cardamom. Yeah, he's like, I added spice to your life. And I was like, oh God, here we go. I'm like, you harassed me on 3 aisles. That's how that went.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
But yeah, so when I met Dave like 6 months later, I was nannying newborn triplets at the time. I'd only been home from the military for about 9 months, and I was having problems. And like, well, we're gonna do surgery, we're gonna do this, that. So fast forward to a year later, I was like, if we don't have kids within this window, I'm not going to be able to have kids.
Mhm.
And because they were just predicting more surgeries and more treatments. And so
Okay.
planned our wedding, and we were living in Georgia at the time because his dad bought some dealerships. So we moved out there, and he was going to learn the car business. I was like, great, this is going to be so much fun. And here we are 24 years later, right? So we're sitting there and we plan our wedding, and we're going to get married in St. Augustine, which is where I'm from, get married at the Fort, which I grew up rolling down the hills there. And Google Castillo de San Marcos. And it's gorgeous. It's just beautiful. And it's right on the bayfront. So we got married, and we had been trying for like 3 months to get pregnant. And the doctor's like, well, it's just not going to happen. We're going to do surgery. We'll see you back here, such and such. And I was like, okay. So we had a weekend for our honeymoon. We get to the hospital. Dave's at work. It's his first day working sales. His dad's like, oh, you got to learn sales. And I'm like, nobody wants to do sales. So he's learning sales. She's like, we can't do your surgery, Mrs. Bennett. And I was like, I just got married. It's Willoughby. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do my surgery? She goes, well, and I start cussing. Like I lose it, like cussing. Like that's not, okay. I got that mouth, right? It's the military. And I'm losing it. She's like, you have to calm down. I was like, I don't have to do anything. She's like, you're pregnant. And I was like, what? And I started cussing all over again. Because then I was like, what do you mean I'm pregnant? Like you said I couldn't get pregnant. What do you mean I'm pregnant?
Yeah.
So I was pregnant with Gwen, and Dave did not get home until 9:00 that night. I was livid. I was like, this is how this is going to be. That was not great for my first experience into the car.
That's sales, right?
Yeah, sales. And then Gwen was born a month early. And then a short 4 months later, I was going in for surgery again. And they called me, and she's like, well, you're pregnant. And I was like, so then we had David, and she's like, we really don't recommend you have any more. I was like, I don't want any more. Salt and pepper shaker said I'm good to go. I was on bed rest with both of them. I had to have surgery with both of them. And it was crazy, so my crossroads was there, just wanting to be a mom.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to say a few words about our new sponsor, WYNN'S. People who love cars love WYNN'S. With over 80 years of experience in innovation, WYNN'S leads the industry with product and system innovations that drive vehicle performance and longevity. WYNN'S leads through our innovation, our technology, and the products we create. We bring a legacy of superior performance that professional service providers trust through our heritage of innovative formulas and unparalleled service. It starts with fuel and oil, and it ends with excellence. Our dedication to research and development has led to more than 18,000 granted and pending patents across our company. And that drive continues today at WYNN'S. New vehicle technology like EV requires leading-edge service and products. WYNN'S ensures our products meet EV requirements and still provide the same high level of protection that we've always offered. We meet tomorrow's needs by using our knowledge and technology today. WYNN'S brings innovative, technically advanced, professional-grade solutions to the world. Our legacy of innovation and performance is always copied, but never outrun. So thank you, WYNN'S, for sponsoring the What the FixedOPS podcast.
Like I literally, had all these friends. They're like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to feed this baby. Like, I'm good. And it just really turned into so much more than what I could have ever anticipated being a mom. It's been the best thing of my life.
When you say, I just want to be a mom, that encompasses a lot. That's not an easy deal. There's no manual. There's nothing for that. While your friends are doing this, this, and that. And the way you just said it, did you say it back then too? Because you said it with such conviction.
It is literally all I wanted. Like and everybody was like, well, that's such low hopes and such low dreams. And I'm like, I don't think it is. Like, you are responsible for a human freaking life. You are the reason they turn out to be good people or they turn out to be crap bags. I mean, it is you. It's your fault. It's what you subject them to. It's what you allow them to do. It's the people that you allow to be part of their lives and be impactful for that. And it's funny now to talk to my daughter and she's like, you remember when you wouldn't let me do so-and-so? I'm like, yep. And they're like, I'm so glad you didn't. And I was like, well, because I know stuff, right? But what all of our parents have always said, well, you can't do this because I say you can't. And because I've already done it. And most kids are like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I still go ahead.
I think it's such an important conversation with your kids to not just say, you can't do this because I went through it. And it's not good for you to do because I did it. I think it's important for you to say why they can't do it, but to also share that experience and say, look, I'm not just saying that because it's a bad thing. Here's why. A lot of parents don't explain the why. It's because I said so. And I can't stand that. And I'm like, here's the why. Here's the science. Here's why this makes sense or why this doesn't. And I think that is tantamount to raising successful humans.
Yeah, I could see
there's a
you.
more important job on the planet.
I could see when your son or your daughter might say something, and you say no on something real simple, and they get into why. Well, if you think about it, that's all they want to do is debate, because anything other than yes, you can, it goes nowhere. And it sounds like you explained a lot of the whys to them, so they understand.
I think everything is a discussion, right? And I think you pull that into fixed operations too, because you need to know why this number makes sense and why this is the metric that we're trying to hit. And not just in the car business, right? Or anywhere else, you don't explain just the why, you explain the how, because you can't. It's like teaching a kid to drive. You can't just say, stay between the green and the yellow like my dad did. He's like, just don't go in the green, but don't go to the yellow. And I'm like, that's not helpful.
Yeah, I had a little falling off. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. My dad caught me smoking cigarettes. Okay. And a great dad, great upbringing, but he just did the best he could. I don't hold him responsible or accountable for anything. I'm the one that got off track, and then I got back on track because of the things my mother and father instilled in me. But I remember sitting at the table talking about the perils and how bad it is smoking, and my mom and he were smoking a cigarette telling me about this. I mean, it was
I have such a similar story, Russell. My dad smoked Marlboro Light 100, so they're like this long.
Oh yeah,
solid white. And I came back in from smoking, and of course I stunk. And he had one hanging out of his mouth. And he was like, were you smoking? And I turned to him and I said, yeah. And he's like, don't smoke. And I was like,
okay, Dad.
That was it.
So funny.
That is real funny. Well, thank you for sharing that. Some of that, obviously, we are everything we've ever seen, heard, read, and done up until this moment. So that's defined you into who you are today, and you're going to be a wonderful grandmother. Do you even know a name? Do you have a name for being?
Well, the dog calls me G Money.
I like that. I don't know if you get your kids to call you that.
My niece
give them some money.
My nieces call me Ani, which I love. I have so my niece Jessie, she has 2 little girls, so they're my great nieces, and they call me Ani, and I spoil the living daylights out of those 2. She's like, Ani, we don't have any cake mix. I'm like, oh my God. And I get on Instacart and I send like $40 worth of cake mix and cupcake holders and frosting. And I'm like, do you need anything else? She's like, how about some flowers for mommy? And I'm like, okay. Like, don't ask me for nothing, because I'm
this is the part of WTF that Charity and I like the best, because a lot of people haven't seen this side of you or understand your origin story and how you got here. They know who you are and what you do, but this helps define that. So thank you very much for being humble enough to share that. It means
and sharing such a personal story from your history.
I'm an open book, but you got to ask the right questions. Like, I'm not just going to walk in a room and be like, you guys need cupcake mix? I'm on it. Like, we We have such a great group of people here, and most of them know my personality and, know what they can get out of me and what they can get away with. And then there's some of them that are just like, I'm not calling her. And I'm like, I heard you're not calling me. Like, what's bad?
Talk it out, right? Communication.
I'll sit on top of your desk until you talk to me. Like,
yeah, there you go.
Up to you.
Well, how about I pivot us a little bit to a topic I think you really like, Angela. Do you have any insider insights on fixed operations or vendor management or anything else that you could share with the people who are listening, whether that be something that few realize or some secret recipe to success or some tip that makes management easier?
Wow, great question.
Yikes. A tip to make management easier. I think talking to your people is key. Like, we think that communication is key for our guests, which it is, right? Because they want to know what's going on with their vehicle and why is it taking so long? And we don't care that a part is on back order in Germany. Like, no one cares, right? What they care about is that communication piece. And as an employee, you care about that too. You want to hear you're doing a good job, or here's some coaching. Here's how you can do better. The more money you make, the more money I make, the more money the company makes, right? They're telling you that, but they're not showing you how to do that, because the order comes from up here and we've got to filter it down into layers and layers after layers. I think if you're going to be successful as a manager or as a leader, work with your people, talk to your people, know what makes them tick, know their hobbies, know what they like, bring them a treat every now and then. It could be a freaking piece of butterscotch from your grandmother's purse. Like, no one cares. It's just the fact that you're thinking of them and you're thinking about their well-being. There was an ice cream truck here at the dealership today. It was fantastic. I had oatmeal cream pie ice cream in a waffle cone.
That doesn't sound fantastic, but to each their own. But
I'd read that. So I think doing like a little appreciation event like that was fantastic. And, for all of you out there, technicians are sick of pizza parties. Okay. Bring them a sub, cook them steak. One of our dealerships over here, when they hit their month, they have steak. I'm like, am I invited? Because
you're invited.
I mean, it's just, those little things go so far with people. It's just those little things. And when they go somewhere, when our team goes somewhere, I'm like, oh, bring me back a pen. I like pens. Like, if it's a cool pen, like, I want it. Like, I'm like, what do you have on your desk? Like, bring me a pen. So it's those little things. But I am so passionate about our team, but I'm also passionate about third-party vendors. And I see such a huge need in every dealership across everywhere. And I've seen this with my own experience where I've worked, and then watching my husband do it. He's been in the service industry for 24 of the 26 years we've been together, minus that blip in sales. It was not.
Yeah.
I fussed at him, as you can imagine. So you guys spend in a dealership, you spend so much money on this vendor and that vendor. And do you know what you're getting from that vendor? Sure you do. You know what to expect. They're doing your marketing. Let's use FOM for an example, right? You're doing our marketing online. I know that I can go to our website. I can look at our service specials and I can see a video of a special. I can see what it's going to cost me. That's fantastic. But where's the ROI? What am I getting out of that? How many people have clicked on that? How many appointments have been made from that? But at the end of the day, how much money am I making compared to what I'm spending? There's not a lot of that going on. There's a lot of, have you looked at your expenses this month? Your expenses are out of whack. You got a lot going on in advertising. Cool. If I pull up my expense budget for marketing and I drill down to service, right? And I can see that, let's say I'm spending $1,300 on marketing, but I've brought in $26,000 in marketing from this specific campaign, right? And I can track it. I can track it by RO or by VEN. Like, I can physically put my fingers on it and say, this one matches with this one. That's your ROI. And if you're not monitoring that, you're not paying attention to the outgoing money versus the incoming money, you're wasting money, right? Because you're just, everybody has a quick fix. There's so many vendors. You have no idea, right? And then you do an expense review and you're paying 3 different companies for the same service.
Oh my gosh, that's so common, isn't it?
It's crazy. And we've done a lot of house cleaning, and Justin is the master negotiator. He's a master of a lot of things. He has like 18 black belts and stuff. I don't even know what they all are.
I know, he's a stud, man.
He's crazy. But I'm like, Justin, like this company does this and this company does this. And the only difference is, A, B, or C. This one does better, and it's $100 more, but the ROI, and we just sit and compare stuff.
Sure.
And I'm like, this one has to go. And if you're not looking at, it's like your car insurance. If you're not looking at your car insurance every 6 months, you are wasting money. Like you are,
Good point.
good Lord. So third-party vendor management is about building that relationship too with that vendor. Like I want a relationship with you if you're going to be doing our marketing, because
Sure.
I want to know what we're investing in as a company and that you are protecting our interest in your company,
Absolutely.
and I don't think you get that a lot when you just sign a contract, they charge you to implement, right? Or integration or whatever the other fees are.
Sure.
And then they go about their day. And I'm like, do you guys do monthly reporting? No, we don't have that. Well, I'm going to need that, because if you don't do monthly reporting, please don't pitch to me. Please don't come to me and say, hey, we've got this great product for you. Here's what it is. Here's what we can do for you. Can you show me reporting and show me what it does for
I
us?
remember having that conversation with you too. That is not a good thing for Angela.
No. And I like to ask those questions right up front, because I don't want to sit there. No one is ever going to pitch to me in an hour. Like I am never, if you have allotted an hour for me, I'm sorry, we're not hitting an hour. It's going to be like 3 hours, because I am going to have questions. I am extremely thorough, because I may not get another opportunity to sit down with you. You may not get another opportunity to sit down with me, because schedules are schedules, right? And if you're trying to do it for 30 plus stores, and then you're trying to do it for hundreds of, 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
Time is very valuable and it's limited. And third-party vendor management, not only do you need to worry about your expenses and your money, you need to worry about your time and making sure that it's taking care of your business and that they are as invested in you as you are with them. And everybody's doing 30-day contracts now, because there's so much out there, and it's so much more important now for you as a vendor to be able to prove your ROI to somebody.
Right.
And say, hey, this is what I can do for you. Here's the results. Here's proven results. You don't like us in 90 days? No hard feelings. We're out.
So I know you're right though. And even our stuff, as you might remember, we're day to day. I mean, you don't even, if you want out, why hold somebody hostage for 30 days when they've already made a decision to move on? We think that's real important to the long term. Also, people like that kind of stuff. If your product is crap and it's not doing anything, and you're still going to hold them for hostage after multiple attempts to get a hold of you and get something fixed and no response, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what? This is a small industry, isn't it, Angela?
And I want to learn everything I can about those vendors, because if you have a problem, I want to know about it so I can either help troubleshoot it or make sure you get the right answer. And I tell everybody on our team, I'm like, if you have a problem, CC me on the email, because I'm going to follow up with it. I'm going to pay attention. And if you don't get a result, no one talks to you in 24 to 48 hours. I'm like, hi, how's it going? Can I please get an answer?
I don't want that call. No way.
People are like, we're scared of her. She follows up on emails. I'm like, I shouldn't have to follow up on an email. But if I do, it's not pretty. Like, and I sent 10 nasty grams today. He's like, Jesus. I'm sure I give him a headache, but I'm like, hey, problems are solved.
You know what? I was sitting here thinking that all of you listen to this, you might think, oh, well, it's not really, trust me, this is Angela. She'll follow up with you.
Oh, I am in your inbox.
Oh yeah, you are.
My favorite is, hey, just sending this to you again so I could be at the top of your inbox tomorrow. If I could get like a working emoji of my face to put in the email, and it's just like, or
A little wink.
it'd be great. It'd be like, we're never opening an email from her again.
See, here we are. We've gotten through maybe 2 questions.
2
questions. But that's why I love this. And you've been so open and transparent about doing that. A lot of people will go just a little bit. I'm kind of that way too. If you ask me the right questions, I'll go down a wormhole with you if you're really prepared to go down that wormhole. And sometimes I'll get real emotional about it too, but
yeah,
it's really
I
refreshing.
get into rabbit holes that turn into warrens.
Oh yeah.
Turn into like states away. So sometimes you have to like, Angela, you didn't answer the question. I'm like, oh, what did you ask me?
Well, you're in good company then.
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
let me,
Go ahead.
let's see. I'm going to pick because we're going to run out of time. So let me ask you this one. This one seems like a good one for you. And it's about training and teamwork. What makes a team work fluidly? Is it the proper initial training, or is it constant and consistent mentorship of a person over time that drives buy-in?
Great question.
Yeah, it has to be, for me, it has to be that consistent connection. You have to train your people. It's a pandemic that we hire people, not we as in foundation, but in general, right?
Sure.
We hire people as leaders to come in, work our business, spend a couple days with them, and we go on about our day, right? Because we don't want to micromanage. We don't want to be seen as a micromanager. You don't have to be a micromanager to train your people, follow up with them, and make sure their needs are being met. You know, it's so important to touch base with your people constantly, consistently, and in a manner to where they feel like you're approachable and you're not just someone who, you know, sits in a room all day and just fires off emails or phone calls. I think that physical presence is huge. And like John and Justin and I, and even Corey and Kevin, like our owners and our CEOs, and they are out in the dealerships and they're visiting store visits, and they're out there and they're part of that. And I love that. I love that they're not just sitting around like, oh, you need to go talk to so-and-so. You know, they are in it. They're looking at it. They're looking at numbers. They're providing coaching. We do operator summits, which I absolutely love. We do them. We're doing them quarterly now, which is great. So it's an opportunity to meet every 3 months. This month, August, we're doing it here in Denver. We've done the last few in Texas, so it'll be nice for everybody to come out here.
Sure.
I still have to go down the mountain though.
Yeah, you do.
I'm just hoping they can pick me up by helicopter or something. That'd be great.
We are passionate about helping consumers find a great, trusted place to get their car fixed. We have 4 million uniques who come to our website each month for car repair information, and we help them find our REPAIRPAL certified locations. We also have amazing partners like USAA that offer our REPAIRPAL certified network to their customers and members. So how are we going to help dealers? Well, dealers sell 100% of the cars, but over time, after the warranty expires, the repairs go up and up and the revenue potential goes up, but people keep leaving the dealer over time after the warranty. By years 10 or 12, only about 20% of people are still servicing at the dealer. Why is that? There's one dominant reason, and that is price perception. And being REPAIRPAL certified helps you overcome the primary price perception problem. So come let us show you how REPAIRPAL can help you too.
Who knows? That may be down the road, right?
I'll put an H in the backyard and they can just, land. But I think what makes a team work is having that camaraderie with your people and allowing them to have that as well. We don't need to go have a bowling event. Like, you don't need to have things outside of work, right? To have that camaraderie and that mentorship. It's simple coming around and talking to them and, hey, you good today? What can I do for you today? Do you have something, do you have needs that aren't being met? How's training going? Like, I want to make sure that, our apprentices are getting the training that they need so they can move up, because, that's unapplied labor. Nobody wants that. We want them to be successful. And I don't think people can be successful. Most people can't be successful on their own without an outside influence coming in and saying, hey, what do you need? How can I help you?
And everybody's different.
Yes.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And everybody has a little bit different why, but when you remember things like their name, or if they have a family, or, whatever, it's something that was important to them that makes it all worthwhile to come in and do what they do. Boy, I'll tell you what, they'll move heaven and earth for you. Well,
and people used to be motivated by money, right? Now there's still that motivation by money, but they're also motivated by a work-life balance.
Absolutely. God, I'm glad you said that.
If you are just focusing on the money aspect with your team, there's no room for focusing on a work-life balance. And if I can make the same amount of money and work 40 hours versus working 80 hours for the same amount of money, I'm really going to choose the 40-hour work week, right? And my position is very unique, but like I was firing off emails last night at 9:00 last night because I knew I would be in dealerships today. And I canceled, 6 meetings today, 6 phone calls today, which I'm sure everybody was pleased with that. Cause I'm like, hey, they don't want to hear me every Friday. But we do a fixed ops touch base every Friday. And I absolutely love it. And here's what's great about it is Justin told them a few weeks ago, hey, if your numbers are in the green and you're hitting your forecast, you don't need to be on this call. They have all been on the call still. And I love that. I love the fact that they're engaged and they want to know where everyone else stands in their OEM, because we do them by OEM, and they talk about what's working for them, what's not working for them. And I always ask them, I'm like, hey, what's your plan for hitting forecast? What's your plan for getting CSI up? What can I do to help you? Do you need me to come in? Do you need me to help with MPI inspections? Like, what can I do to help you? My favorite thing to ask them is, all right, well, who's got problems that I can take off their plate? Who can I harass for you this week?
That's great.
Yeah, that's really great.
Sometimes I get a taker and I'm like, yes. And then sometimes I don't. And I'm like, fine, I'll have a boring rest of the day, whatever. It's your fault. It's so important that you maintain that level of communication with your people, because they're going to do the same thing with who they're mentoring or who they're working beside. And when they're not doing that, you have a problem. You have a culture problem, and you have to fix that. That has to be.
Yeah. And money doesn't fix it, especially the different generations there are. But there was one point in time where I left and took a job because the money was extraordinary, and it almost destroyed me in 1 year. Yep. And I realized that money's important. Don't get me wrong. I like making money, but man, I got to have some kind of balance in my life, or it's not even worthwhile. I mean,
yep, you can chase the money, right? And I think people older, the older generation who had kids and they were raising them, like, we chased the money, but it also allowed me to stay home, and it allowed us to send our son to Europe for, 2 weeks in the summer. And I got to go to Prague, and, it affords you all these abilities, but are you losing something in the process if you're constantly chasing the money? So people need that work-life balance. But I think a good part of that, right, which also makes them feel balanced, is that nurturing aspect, that caring aspect from their leader.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
What do you think, you've been in automotive a long time. What do you think dealerships are struggling the most with right now?
Communication, definitely, between guests and their employees. I think that's huge, just kind of everywhere. My husband is in the automotive industry still, and he works for a different auto group. And, I see some of his people and I see the guest, and it's a commonality. It's a common problem across the board. We don't communicate enough to our guests because we are trying to get in 15 to 20 guests a day per person. That's a lot. It
is a lot.
That sweet spot is like 10 to 12, because you still have extended warranties to call. You still have other stuff to follow up on. Like you still have so much more to do, right? Other than the new 10 to 12 people you're working in.
Yep.
And the other side of that is, retention, as far as like retaining employees and hiring new employees. People aren't waking up, kids aren't waking up in, senior in high school going, ooh, I think I want to be a Cadillac technician, or, I want to go work on
well, maybe
if you're listeling and you want to be a technician, my information is in there. We will find you. Texas, Tennessee, and Colorado. Okay. So and I think it's so important to grow your technicians, grow your service team. The car business, you can be a porter and be running the place one day.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It is the best place to grow for anybody who wants to be in the automotive industry. You could start out being the lot porter that's picking up cigarette butts, and 3 years from now, you can be the drive manager, the assistant service manager, or we can teach
you anything you want.
Yes.
You can.
I would say those are the two things that dealerships in general will struggle with. It's communication to the guests and the employees, and staff.
Well, I have when I take because I'm a customer, client, whatever, guest, and if I know things don't go smoothly in dealerships, because I've been in the industry a long time, I've been on that side, et cetera. Now I'm a vendor, I get it. But listen, if it's a simple oil change and it takes 3.5 hours and there's a problem, why don't you tell me about it? The longer you make me wait, where I have to engage you just to get an answer, that just goes all over me. And I'm sure, Yeah, just let me know. Shit happens. I get it. I understand. It's not a problem. You know, something went down, something happened. I get it. But if you tell me, man, I'm much more forgiving than if I start chasing you down. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the car business is hard too. I mean, you know, we live and die by the survey.
Yep.
We live and die by it. And some people say it's my report card, or I get this, you know, it's a bonus. And then some OEMs, you're not allowed to mention the survey.
True.
And, you know, OEM approvability is huge, right? Especially our business, you know, we're still in the acquiring phase. We're probably always going to be in the acquiring phase. And if you don't have all of your ducks in a row, which, you know, service metrics, sales metrics, you don't have OEM approvability. And, you know, so we're so focused on that survey. I think sometimes you focus so much on the admin side of where they need to be, we forget the person side of the people who are responsible for getting us there.
That's why what you do is so freaking important, because I know Kevin and Corey and all those. I know all those people. I've known them for a long time. Some of them I've known for more than 2 decades. But in order to continue to acquire those, there has to be a check and balance. And what you do is imperative to their future success. And everybody in there, at least the people I'm familiar with, there seems to be a team atmosphere where, you know, together everybody really does achieve more. And I think that's really great. Instead of being separate and terminally unique, I call it terminally unique. Like, you don't need this, you don't need that. We all need help. We all need to be humble enough to say, hey, Angela, I need help. I'm just not getting this. Can you help with that? And you bring a lot of, because I've heard other things other than just you. So
yeah, I love that too. I love when they reach out and I'm like, look, I can't get to you, but I can send John or Justin out to you. And the fact that, you know, Justin will just be like, yeah, I'll go write service. I'm like, yes, could you go to this store? Because they're drowning. And he'll just go. And I spent a full day making appointments one day at a dealership. I was supposed to be helping them train and learn some new stuff. And they were so busy and the phones would not stop ringing. I was like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. But today I'm just going to make appointments. And it is that true see a need, fill a need. And it is my passion and I absolutely love it. And the fact that Justin is going to do it and John will go, and, you know, he's my counterpart, but we both do completely different things. But he'll go into a store and he'll, you know, sit in the chair for a couple of weeks. If somebody's on vacation, he's in the chair. And
that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah.
I mean, they see you in the trenches. They see you on the drive. They see you on the phone. They see you scheduling appointments.
Yeah. And I've written service before. So it's not, none of us are talking out of the side of our neck, right? I can't be a technician. I tell you that. I have the utmost respect for them, mainly because I don't want oil under my nails, because I'm just not good at that. I bite my nails sometimes, so that's probably not going to be tasty. But
no,
I also don't have the patience for it, right? And the fact that they do this stuff is amazing. And I think I will say the one thing about Dave learning sales, when he went to work for his dad at Willoughby Ford, he put him through every single position in the dealership, started him out in detail, moved him to sales. He learned a little bit of, you know, each department on variable. And then he went to service and he was like, ooh, this is what I like. I think that's huge. I think it's huge to be able to go through the different avenues in something and figure out where your niche is and what you stand for. And the fact that all of us have different unique experiences that we can bring to the table and draw upon them. And when I don't know something, I'm like, look, if I don't know the answer, I know 52 people. I'm calling somebody and I will immediately get on the phone with somebody. I'm like, hey, I don't know the answer to this. Can you help? And I think that's huge too, right? Being able to say, I don't know the answer, but here's a resource that will. You know?
That's maturity. If you're afraid to ask for help, you're not going to make it. You're going to drown. I don't care what industry it is, but automotive, you can do anything with just a college, not even a college education. You can go anywhere and do anything. You could be the general manager. You could end up being the dealer principal if that's something you want to do. I mean, the sky's the limit in automotive. It really is.
Yeah. You do not need to have automotive experience to be a service advisor. And that was one of the things, as far as women go, right? There's not a lot of women in the service industry because it used to be you needed to know automotive. And when I was a service advisor, I didn't know jack. I knew my car had 4 tires, right? I don't know what pressure they need to be at, but that one's flat. And I just learned so much just from being a service writer and talking to the technicians. And they're like, oh, this car needs that. And I'm like, well, what does that do? Like, don't just tell me what it needs. Tell me why it needs it. And what
Yeah, but you know what? With your personality at building relationships and communication, you don't have to have any experience. That is the experience you need. The rest of it can be learned.
You basically need customer service, or at least you need to be a decent human being.
Well, yeah.
And not yell at people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's probably a big one.
But we've got some, I tell you, we've got some amazing people with Foundation, and we do a lot of promoting within, and I absolutely love it. I've been here almost 2 years. August will be my 2-year anniversary, and I've seen some amazing growth from some of our people. And it's fantastic to just watch them start here and grow and keep growing, and then they get promoted, and you're like, yes, that's
Would it be fair to say in any aspect of automotive, if somebody's listening to this and that sounds really good to them, where people care about people and there's opportunity, can they reach out to you guys too? Are you always looking for good quality people?
We're always looking for somebody. Like I don't know that there's a bad position in the dealerships.
Yeah.
Because everybody has to start somewhere, and we promote from within, and we're constantly moving people up and around. And because we have stores in 3 states in the US, there's so much opportunity, and I love that. I love, if I told Justin, hey, I want to move to Texas, he'd be like, okay, we'd move. Dave's never going to leave this mountain. Let's just get that straight. We're never.
No, so Texas, Colorado, and Tennessee, that's where all the stores are at.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much any franchise, you pretty much have all of them for the most part.
Yes, we have 2 luxury. I think the only one we don't currently have is probably Honda, and then like Volkswagen, Audi, Lexus. And then as far as luxury brands, we have Mercedes-Benz and BMW. Those techs are hard to get.
Yeah,
we need those techs, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, did y'all hear that? Say that again.
Mercedes-Benz, BMW.
Okay. So I believe it or not, I think we only asked like 3 or 4 questions. These are the best times of what WTF, and we're at the end. So Charity, let's. What do we normally ask our guests at the end?
Well, Angela, you have a few moments to have the floor, if there's anything exciting coming up or anything you want that we missed, maybe, the floor is yours.
Or how they get a hold of you, etc.
I feel like I had the floor this whole time.
Love it.
I really don't have anything to add, but I will say that I absolutely love what I do. And the car industry really allows you to grow as a person. It allows you to experience new and exciting things. We're always going to make cars, right? And there's always going to be problems with them. And the service industry is not going anywhere. Fixed operations is not going anywhere. I will say that I always said I would never date anybody in the car business.
Ooh.
Missed that one.
It worked. Here you are.
Yeah, married one. And then I ended up getting into it myself. And it's been amazing. And I've really been blessed with the amount of great leaders I've had in my career. And to work for Foundation and to work with the group that we have here, they're fantastic. They really are. I love our entire team.
Yeah, you really have an amazing team.
Yeah. So, and thank you guys so much for having me on this.
Well, thank you.
Anytime.
So
tomorrow's good.
Everybody out there, listen, you're going to love this, and you're going to be able to find it. I don't know exactly when it's going to be released. Charity and Patrick are going to do their magic, but you have the full episode. You can listen to it. You can watch and listen to it. And there's going to be mini shorts. Those get the most juice. They're everywhere. And for those of you they're everywhere. Like her, love her, share the podcast, talk to your friends about it, send them to people, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of opportunity there if you're looking for something. But hey, this has been another extremely, extremely successful WTF. And of course, the fixed ops. I know what all of you are thinking out there, but you hear me say that every time we do this. But listen, Angela Willoughby, Fixed Ops Analyst for Foundation Automotive Group.
Fixed Ops Goddess. Could we start a church?
Goddess.
Justin, I'm sorry. Here comes the Fixed Ops Goddess for the Foundation Automotive Group, who are moving and shaking and growing and all about team and promoting within. We are humbled and honored to have spent the time that we did with you today. And most importantly, for the stuff that you shared. That's what makes WTF real. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.